Hey, what's happening? It's Bill Smith. Over the weekend, Vote was taken totally offline for a DDoS attack. Vote's my favorite website. I think it's a lot better than the Chans as far as like the Reddit format goes. Put It Out does a good job of keeping it up. I want to skip over here real quick. I want to show you that they were specifically targeting this link right here. So I'll show you what's on this link, but more importantly, in the last 3 days, timelines have moved a little bit and the community has caught up. So we're going to talk about this person right here named Nicole Junkermann. And that's kind of the focus of this because it seems like this person right here is new to the PIZZAGATE conversation. She's tied in with everybody. People figured out that she's almost positively a Mossad asset. She started her career as a model. She was born in Dusseldorf, Germany. She's an Israeli spy, essentially. She might even be working with MI6. Throughout the cover-up of the Epstein Island, we've kind of seen that it's not just the Mossad that's involved with it. It's international spy networks. So it's the CIA plus the Mossad plus the MI6 plus whatever else. You know, it's not just Israel doing this. They got their tentacles into everything. So I want to bring the name Nicole Junkermann to your mind because I imagine you're going to hear a lot more about her in the coming weeks. Now, whoever set this up did a really great job. I want to just say thank you for putting this together because it makes my job of explanation a lot easier. I'll be totally honest. I don't know what this is about. Okay? These people are tied together on like a spider web. You know, like it's just like overlapping layers of them working together. So it just looks suspicious. Now, the fact that you would try to take down an entire website like Vote, where we're all sitting at, you know, the internet's sleuthers, and target this specific link, it's very questionable. So I'm going to scroll over this. I'm going to show you what's happening. Nicole Junkermann ties into the Red Cross and the Vatican. Now, the way she ties into the Red Cross is that her husband, his mother, so Nicole Junkermann's mother-in-law was involved in the Red Cross for 30 years, and she was the only person to ever hold the title of general as a woman in the country of Italy. So high-level stuff here. Her husband's name is this guy, Fernando Bracci Peretti. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how well these people tie in with the Vatican. There's pictures of them kissing babies at the Vatican, doing all kinds of stuff. None of this fits together very well. It's all very suspicious. I'm not going to go into the Nazi ties with the Vatican. It's kind of outside the scope of our conversation right now. But the important part is their coat of arms, which was very telling. All right, now here's an 8chan post talking about the same thing, how Vote went down over this post. And they kind of put it all together. I'm not going to get it all right, so don't take my word for it. I'm really just trying to introduce this to you so I can do justice to Vote going down for 2 or 3 days, you know, being attacked about this. So it says this Junkermann chick, she's married to that guy that I was just telling you about. Well, his brother, son of the same woman I was talking about who ran the Red Cross for 30 years, he's involved with the Vatican, and it goes back deep. They're involved in oil. They bring up like the FIFA scandal. I don't know if you follow soccer at all, but like the FIFA thing was a big deal a couple years ago. They're involved in like startup incubators, and they invest a lot of money inside of tech startups, including one that was funded by Google through Israel. It ties into this. This is the House of Borromeo. This talks about how they were merchants around 1300. So this family goes way back. Like, these are old school people. It says that the best known members of this family were cardinals and archbishops of Milan. A guy who was canonized by Pope Paul V in 1610, and Federico, who founded the Ambrosian Library. Now, if you know anything about Ambrosia, this is that startup that Peter Thiel had funded recently where they suck blood out of young kids aged 18. They pull out parts of their blood and then they inject it into old people to reverse the aging effect. This sounds a lot like adrenochrome. So they've located that there's some kind of like protein in the blood of the young, and they've tested it in rats and mice, and they've proved the anti-aging effect. And I'm not going to show you the link, but this woman chemist in St. Louis recently discovered that it's caused by a previously unknown protein in the blood system that is created in higher amounts the younger you are. So this kind of explains some of the science behind it. Someday I'll go into the details about it, but right now I just want to tell you that Nicole Junkermann is married into a family that has ties to the Vatican going back to the year 1300. Alright, now remember I was mentioning Milan. So they also tie into this family and this family crest, which I really just don't, I get it. It just seems very odd to me. I'm going to show you this crest, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit. It says, Visconti is the family name of an important Italian noble dynasties of the Middle Ages. The Visconti of Milan rose to power in their city, where they ruled from 1277 to 1447, as lords and dukes of several branches which still exist. This is what that crest is. That's the coat of arms for them. That seems very odd, right? A large, kinged snake eating a man. Now, Red Ice TV has a little bit of a write-up on this. Shout out to Red Ice. But here's the coat of arms, chiseled out of some stone. This is on the side of a building, if I remember correctly. It's on, look, it's on this is the coat of arms on the manufacturer of Alfa Romeo. Look, there it is. I'm actually, I just discovered this as we were talking. I didn't know about this. I didn't get this far on my own yet. So there's the logo for Alfa Romeo. It's the exact same Italian dynasty based out of Milan in the Middle Ages, based on merchant ruling classes. And it's a snake eating a man. Alfa Romeos, the cars that you drive has this logo on it. So we'll take a second to see what Wikipedia says about the Alfa Romeo logo. It says the original logo. Alfa Romeo's logo incorporates two heraldic devices, that's what that means, traditionally associated with its birthplace, the city of Milan. A red cross from the emblem of Milan and the Biscione, also known as the Vipera. So I'm going to read this real quick. It says, it's a heraldic charge showing the argent of an azure serpent in the act of consuming a human, usually a child, and sometimes described as a Moor or Ottoman Turk. It was the emblem of the Visconti of Milan from the 11th century, becoming associated with Milan as the whatever else. I'm going to glaze over that. So it says it's a crowned viper swallowing a child version of a Moor. Now, if you don't know anything about the Moors were North African Muslims who were trying to invade Christian Europe. And they were kicked out in 1492, the same year that Columbus set sail for the New World. And in that same year, they signed the Alhambra Decree, which started the Spanish Inquisition, which was designed to flush out all Jews who were fake converts to Christianity, called conversos, and this is where the term crypto-Jews come from. So if you're new to my channel, stop with the crypto-Jew BS. Crypto-Jew is what a Jesuit is. It's a fake Christian. It's not a fake Jew. So when you come to my channel and you say, oh, not all Jews, I believe you, but that's not what a crypto-Jew means. A crypto-Jew is a Jesuit, essentially. So we'll continue with the logo from the Alfa Romeo. This is on Wikipedia again. So this is the origins. I'm probably going to glaze over this. You can come over here and read this. It talks about the post-war evolution after 1946, the abolishment of monarchy. Yada, 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 yada. Here we go. All right, so I just want to get this in there, and then we can move on. All right. So this is where we started with. Again, this video is about Nicole Junkermann, specifically. So her and Epstein are investing in the same companies. And this company is called Carbine. Now what Carbine was doing was they were, I believe this was a UK-based tech company, and they were going to do emergency services. So they wanted to get expanded emergency protocols from people. Now, Carbine seems like a bad deal because it puts the entire control of 911 emergency response in their control. Imagine what you could do with that. So they say it's a good thing because they have an app, and the app can get location data down to 3 feet, and audio from the microphone, and video from the camera. But what they say is that they want to use this to triage support systems, so they can say what's important and what's not important. And if you're following what's happening in Europe, Europe is going out of their way to not enforce laws and safety in places like no-go zones. They let, Pakistani rape gangs go for 12 years, even though they knew what they were doing. They turned a blind eye. And they would even arrest parents who specifically went to go get their kids on their own. So some interesting stuff. We'll just connect the dots here. I don't know who this Victor Veklisberg guy is, but he ties into none other than ex-Trump attorney Michael Cohen, who is the controlling stakeholder of this other company, who has this other guy, Andrew N. Trader, on the board. Now, everything ties into Ehud Barak. I think I'm saying his name correctly. Ehud. This guy is running against Netanyahu in the Israeli prime minister elections. So he's trying to be president of Israel right now. Now, he was already president in the past, from 1998 to 2000, I believe. He was replaced by Netanyahu, who has been their president ever since. Prime minister, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, this all ties into Jeffrey Epstein, running that honeypot up on that Lolita Express plane. But this is really interesting because this guy is currently, Ehud Barak is currently in a presidential election. So this is the worst possible time for this stuff to come out with his name attached to it. Again, Nicole Junkermann. Nicole Junkermann. Now, just as an aside, I always thought it was weird that a guy named Barry Soetoro would rename himself Barack Obama when we were just fighting a war against terrorism supposedly led by a guy named Osama bin Laden. Osama, Obama, that sounded a little too close to me. And I could never understand, why would you pick the first name Barack? Well, here it is. This guy, Ehud Barak. I believe that's where he got his name. I can't prove it. I'm just tossing it out. Barack Obama, Ehud Barak, Osama bin Laden. It's just a word play. It just sounds too close. There's got to be something to it. But I'm not going to stand on that. You can look if you want. I'm probably going to end it here. I just want to mention something before I go. In the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king. I'm going to curse here in a second. So if you have children in the room, if I'm on TV, plug the ears. Dan Crenshaw is a turncoat. And I almost stood up for him. I almost made videos trying to help him out on his journey into Congress. But Dan Crenshaw is a turncoat. So I'd like to formally state for the record, fuck you, Dan Crenshaw. Fuck you, you one-eyed snake. You might say, Bill, don't say that. He's one of us. He's a true patriot. Well, let me ask you this. Are you a tech worker? Do you know a tech worker? And do you know a tech worker who's had to train his brown replacement from India in the last 5 years? I do. I can check all those boxes. Dan Crenshaw is not a tech worker. So Dan Crenshaw is now working to pass a bipartisan agreement started by Kamala Harris to double the number of H-1B visa contract workers who get citizenship now. And they'll say it's not true, but it is. Fuck Dan Crenshaw. Till next time, this is Bill Smith. Thanks for watching.